to vlog part 3. Today's a very rainy day. I'm in my sweats. Can you see? I'm in a state of mourning for my hard drive. It's kind of settling in. Pretty much lost 2 terabytes of footage. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you can watch my previous vlog, but that's not what today's about. Today's gonna be a good day because I'm revealing how I color grade my videos, how I color grade my vlogs. This is probably one of the most requested videos I get. I'm gonna share my secret that I think a lot of you guys are curious about and beyond color grading. And if you don't know what color grading is, it's basically after color correction. So color correction is like, if this clip is too blue, I'm gonna make sure to balance the color a little bit more to make it less blue. Color grading comes after that when you're like, now I want to set a certain mood to this video, or I want it to look a certain way. I'm going to try to achieve it, stylistically. Beyond color grading, I'm also going to talk a little bit about effects in Premiere, utilize those using adjustment layers and keyframes. So, just first off, I'm just going to tell you what I use to color grade. I click on the adjustment layer to pop up the effects that I have applied to all of the clips underneath here. This effect is a preset that I set. It's called just Film Vlog Blue Look. It is the look that I have pretty much on all of my vlogs. If I turn it off, you see kind of the difference. Effect on, effect off. Where do I get this? Did I pull it out of thin air? No. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because Magic Bullet is something you have to buy, and it's actually pretty expensive. So I'm going to show you how to maybe get a compared look using a already existent Premiere plugin. But I just want to show you exactly what I use. So with Magic Bullet comes a lot of these color grading tools. There is Looks, Mojo. I use Film, the Film preset-ish. It gives you a lot of options. So basically, I'm going to turn off the effects for now. I'm just going to focus on this clip. I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to double click Film. So right off the bat, it gives me kind of an ugly film look. Something with presets you have to realize is they're not going to look great off the bat. So if you have no idea what LUTs means, a LUT is basically, it stands for lookup table. It's something you can download from the internet that are already pre-existing looks that people have developed for you. So you can download them into Premiere or Final Cut, and you can have these looks and then change the opacity depending on what you want. There's not a lot of versatility in those, but something like Magic Bullet looks, film looks, is you can go in, you actually have control of everything, the exposure, the contrast. So there's a ton of flexibility. Of course, this doesn't look that good, right? Like, I look like a freaking zombie. So this is where you can come in and say, okay, my footage is pretty flat because I shot on my Sony as like a neutral profile, or maybe you shot in a PP7 profile picture. That's where you will choose flat. Log is just like super flat footage, so it's gonna like really make the effect extreme. And then video option is basically if you shoot with a normal look, so it's very saturated and contrasty. I usually keep it on flat, and then I can go through these different film looks and really decide which one I like. Again, right out the bat, these lookup tables, these presets aren't gonna be ideal. They're not gonna be perfect, but you click on different things, you adjust accordingly, you adjust the contrast, you adjust the saturation, and all those things will make your final look. So just by randomly hitting buttons, I kind of got like a cool look. It's kind of like a cool vibe, right? I mean, it's cool. Kind of vintagey looking. So we have that in comparison to my look. I'll turn that off, turn the adjustment layer back on, and that's my look. So it's similar. Okay, so I use Magic Bullet film looks, but how can you just start color grading right out the bat without any presets or lookup tables? You want to use the lumetri color panel in Premiere. So I'm going to show you that. And then also, I need to show you my secret sauce. On top of Magic Bullet film looks, this is what gives kind of the look to my video. I'm gonna show you that after like 40 seconds from our sponsor! Videoblocks has one of the fastest growing and largest video libraries where you can go and choose from over 3 million videos, After Effects, and motion backgrounds. You're probably like, how does this apply to me and how could I use it? I'm glad you asked that. This is a music video, or a lyric music video, that I made maybe 2 years ago, and this is a really good example of how to use like stock footage or starry footage, spacey footage, anything, overlay it over your video to add a effect. So you see the GIF, you know, I shot some video, but then I also went to a stock footage website and I got starry footage to then overlay these things that I shot to make it more interesting. How I did this was basically just put that starry video layer over my already existent video layer. I changed the opacity to overlay and I adjusted the opacity via 100% to 0% to my liking. But anyway, Videoblocks is launching a new collection featuring hundreds of new Unreal clips, including space, VR, deep water, fantasy, and sci-fi footage. You can click in the description box below for a exclusive 7-day free trial, or go to videoblocks.com/future. Now back into the video! Secret sauce. You want the secret sauce, right? You ready for it? Grain. Not grain that you can go and add in these effects. Like that's cool grain, right? It adds like that kind of grainy, cool effect. But like a video layer of grain. Let me show you what I'm talking about. If I go over here to like what the final project looks like, I have this other video layer up here on V4. This is grain. Like literally, if I expand this video timeline, this is a video clip of grain. I'll show you what it looks like just by itself. It's like little speckly grain stuff. Google on the internet like 35mm grain or something and you'll be able to find this. You might actually be able to find it on Videoblocks. I haven't gotten a chance to check it out yet, but grain is kind of my secret sauce. Some of you guys are like, why would you do that? Like there's no real reason as to, I just love aesthetically how it looks. So I go for the more like filmy look. Some of you guys are like, what? You have these new fancy sharp cameras and you're gonna ruin it with grain? I mean, it's a cool look I like, and if you dig it, I'll show you kind of how I do it. Import the grain into Premiere, into Final Cut, whatever you want to do. Copy and paste it all over your video that you want the grain on, and obviously the stronger you want the effect, the higher the opacity is going to be. So you're going to come in here in opacity and you're going to click on the blend mode. The blend mode is a very cool way to involve different effects, like I was just talking about the star effect. This is where you go into blend mode, you click the preset overlay. And that is going to take basically your video layer from just this to this. It's basically going to overlay that grain. If it is at 100%, the grain is going to be more present. So you can see it's more grainy. And then if it's at like 10%, the grain is way more subtle. Once you export your video to YouTube, honestly, the YouTube compression does kind of like mess up or not even show really the grain at all, but it still adds to the overall aesthetic. So there you go. Secret revealed. I can quit YouTube and you guys can make pretty filmy look videos. So how can you start color grading right now? Go into effects, type in lumetri color panel. When color grading, a smart thing to do is start a adjustment layer, do new adjustment layer. It'll pop up in your project window. You're gonna take it, you're gonna drop it over the clips that you want to color grade. What this does is you can now add any effect onto this adjustment layer instead of the individual clips, and that effect be applied to everything below the adjustment layer. So it's going to affect all of these clips instead of the one individual clip you apply the effect to. So the new adjustment layer I just put on is going to be me showing you the lumetri color panel. And this adjustment layer is the one I have already added my film look to. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off. We are going to drag and drop lumetri color onto this. The coloring in Lightroom is very similar now in Premiere with this new plugin, Lumetri Color. I'm going to break it down just a little bit if you're very unfamiliar with it. It has 6 drop-down menus. Here you can adjust the temperature. Going to your right makes it more warm, left blue. The tone is right more magenta, left is more green. Exposure just makes your image brighter or darker. Contrast makes your blacks more black, your whites more white. Highlights will bring up the highlights. Shadows make your shadows darker, so it makes your blacks more punchy. And then your whites will make your whites more whites. Blacks will make your blacks. Bring up the white, it'll make your white more white. Bring it down, it'll make your whites darker. And the same thing for blacks. One major pro tip is curves, 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 curves. A look that I always basically went for is a S curve. You put 3 dots, here, here, and you do this S curve. So that kind of crushes your blacks. This brings up the whites a little bit. And you already have kind of a cool look going on. Go back to basic correction. Something you're gonna dig is Premiere already has LUTs built in to this Lumetri color panel. So you can go in, go through some film looks similar to what I showed you earlier via Magic Bullet film looks. See, all of these are so extreme just right out the bat, but I'll show you what you can do. And something I mentioned earlier about LUTs is you don't have a ton of control. So basically what you can do is you can say, this is way too strong, right? Like, obviously that doesn't look that good. But you can come to your adjustment layer and you can change the opacity. Turn down the whites a little bit because I was completely blown out. So already, like, I actually really like this look. It's a little bit more of like the faded film look, and then I would just add some grain on the top. And you already have your video looking very vibey. I would call this vibey. Let's take this effect that we just did, the Lumetri color effect. And say for whatever reason, I want this effect to go from 0 to all the way applied in the span of 5 seconds. You can do that via keyframing. You can change any effect, whether it's the size of the clip, it's the opacity of the clip, it's the scale of the clip, it's the rotation. If you want to change any of that over time, you do that via keyframes. And so you can see even the animation on the timeline. Look, so it starts from 0 and it goes all the way to 100%. So it's a very visual way of seeing it. So now, if I click play, see the effect is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and at the very end is the strongest. So this is how I zoom in on clips. Click on the clip, click toggle animation on scale. It starts at 100. I want to zoom into my face, so I want it all the way zoomed in right here. So I'm going to add another keyframe and I'm going to enter in like 200. So that's going to really zoom in. Look how pretty that is. So now when I click on the clip, look, it's gradually zooming into my face as the effect is, you know, gradually getting more strong. So the opportunity is endless with this. You can change any effect over time with keyframes. Also, thank you to Videoblocks for sponsoring this video. Make sure to check out that link in the description below for a 7-day free trial. Thank you so much for tuning into these tutorials. Let me know if you liked this video. If you liked it, hit that like button down below. And if you're new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the Peachy fam. Make sure to check out how to vlog part 1 and 2. I have one more coming at you. And then I'm always vlogging. I'm always posting videos Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Stay peachy. Okay, bye.